Hi everybody, I'm George Riles from Archery Learning Center. It is time for another thing a week. Today I am tuning up a backup outdoor bow, and I had some pesky paper tuning issues. So I get messages on Facebook and email and text and all that about my bow is tearing right, it's tearing left, it's tearing high, it's tearing low, you know, that sort of stuff. So I'm going to go through some of the little weird things that you come in contact with when you're tuning your bow that isn't standard and you won't find in the paper tuning manuals. So I'm going to take a quick shot right quick, and we're going to see what the bow is doing. I already know that this is tearing the paper, so I'm going to fix it right quick while you're watching so you can see how to do this. Right now I have the bow set up for a basic tune. Everything is right down the middle of the bow. The knocking point looks level and the whole bit, and for all intents and purposes, it should be a total bullet hole through the paper. But I know, because I've shot this already, I cheated, I know that it's not going to tear. So there we are. Let's walk up here and have a look. So here's my tear through the paper. There's a couple of things. See, that tore to the left. You can see where the point entered here, and the tail end of the shaft entered there. So I already know that the arrow is in the middle of the bow. So, and this is a pretty big tear, so I'm not just going to go cranking on the rest until the arrow's up against the bow or something like that. I get guys that say, I've adjusted the rest all the way over until it's nearly touching the bow and it still won't shoot a hole. That's crazy. I just leave the bow set. So what I'm going to take a look at is I'm going to take a look at the yoke on my bow. So here at the yoke, if one of these is longer or shorter than the other, the cam will lean in one direction or the other. So rather than visually setting the cam dead straight at rest, I let the paper tear tell me where the cam needs to be. So let's run over to my power press and let's take a look, and I'm going to put a couple twists in my yoke and see if I can straighten this out. I got the bow set up in my last chance power press, and on this press I have a prototype of the deluxe second axis. Look at what this thing will do. When I'm working on the bow, I can actually tip the bow down so that I can get to the cables or see it, or I can get my light over here closer to what it is that I'm working on. So if you have a power press deluxe right now, or if you're thinking about getting one, make sure that you get it with the second axis. And they also sell the second axis separately so that you can add it to your existing deluxe power press. So anyway, here's what I'm going to do. That paper tear tore to the left. So I'm going to add a twist to the left yoke to change the tilt of the cam a little bit to get the string a little bit more behind the arrow. So here we go. Put a little press in there. Make sure that I'm turning this in the right direction, in a direction that it tightens. So now I'm going to twist it and then put it back on. There we go. Put my stabilizer back on, and let's see how this works. Okay, so here we are. I put a couple twists in the yoke, and it looks like I went just a little bit too far. So we went from here to here with a few twists in the yoke. So now I'm going to back that off a little bit, and then that's going to be perfect. So a couple more things that you should think about while you're shooting through the paper. Here's a couple of dumb mistakes that I've made in the past. Like I've had my paper too close to the bail, and when the arrow goes through the paper, it touches the bail before the fletchings enter, so that gave a weird tear, and I adjusted my bow all over the place trying to make it tune, and it found out that it was the bail making the arrows kick, so don't do that. Another one is if you get a consistent right tear through the paper and you're right-handed, It could mean that you're getting your chin into the string. With today's really high let-off bows, if you draw back and bring your chin to the string, your chin deflects the string, which makes it tear right through the paper. So if you have a right tear that constantly tears right no matter where you move the rest, the first thing to do is draw the bow back and hold it away from your face and shoot a test shot through the paper and see if that hole clears up for you. That'll let you know whether if you're turning your chin into it. You'll also, if you're shooting outdoors and you have kind of a football-shaped group, it's flat in the middle and arrows radiate out to both sides, you're also getting your chin or face deflection into the string because that makes it create that kind of football-shaped or flat pattern through the target. So be aware of that. So I'm going to take a twist or two out of this. We're going to get it to a bullet hole, and then I get to go outside and sight my bow in. Okay, so we're all set. I got a good bullet hole in the paper. Now this doesn't mean that my bow is perfectly tuned. It means that I'm ready to begin tuning my bow. So what a bullet hole really means through the paper is it means that yes, the arrow is flying straight through the bow. It doesn't mean that it's grouping as good as it can possibly group. So I'll go outside, start doing a little long-range group tuning, I'll do a Dudley walk back, I'll do a few other things to make sure that my bow is grouping as good as it can possibly group. So keep this stuff in mind the next time you're trying to paper tune your bow. You don't have to kill yourself to get a perfect bullet hole, but make it look pretty good before you start, and you'll be closer to a perfect tune when you start getting outside and group tuning.